Hello everybody, this is Oak Tree Tarot Reader here and welcome to my pick a card video. So this is my first anniversary of having a YouTube channel. Woohoo! On the 6th of September 2018 I started this channel, and if you'd have told me then that I would have over 6,000 subscribers and all these different videos on different pick a card options, questions, whatever, I wouldn't have believed you. So all I can say is thank you to everybody that subscribed, liked my videos, left me lovely comments, left me the odd tip, or even booked a reading with me. Thank you so much for all of your support and all of your appreciation. I really enjoy doing the videos, enjoy the channel, and hope to carry on for as long as possible, and you will make it even more enjoyable for me with every view. So thank you. So I wanted to do a question that I felt was important but also enjoyable. And I thought a good question would be, what can I take control of in order to be happy? So this is taking control of something in your life, and once you do, you're going to be happier. You know, for now, I mean, that will eventually change. The things that make us happy change over our lives. But now, at the moment, there's something you have the power and the authority to take over. And when you do that, happiness will follow. So we have option 1, option 2, and option 3. I will put the timestamps in the description box and in the comment section. Everything else that you need will also be in the description box, so check there if you have any questions. And if there's nothing there that's been answered, you can email me on oaktreetarotreader@gmail.com. So now I want you to relax, get in a calm place, an open state of mind, and then ask yourself the question, what can I take control of that will lead me to happiness? And when you feel ready, make your choice. Don't doubt yourself, don't overthink it, trust your instincts. If you need a little bit more time to do that, then please press pause. And when you've made your choice, click on the timestamp and I shall see you at your reading. Okay, those of you that chose number 1, here is your reading. What do you need to take control of in order to find happiness? So these are the 3 things that are blocking the happiness, that you don't really have control over these things and they're causing the problem, basically. So we start off with 9 of Swords. It's a nice one to start off with. King of Cups. King of Swords. Okay. So for me, you're just not in control. This just reads to me as that you're overthinking things, you're not getting enough sleep, your mind is dominated by something, you know, it's like giving you a headache, it's just completely in control and it's blocked off your mind. It's just all there, it's always going on. And so you're not getting in control of your emotions, you're not balancing your emotions out. You might think that you are, and you might be leading a perfectly normal life, but in some way that you're not in control, because actually you're not in control of your thoughts and your feelings. It's absolutely that these 3 cards here are telling me that you're just not in control. You might be thinking, but I'm going to work, I'm paying the bills, I'm having good relationships with other people. There's something in your life. Let's specify that it could be your love life, your work life, family life. And it's just one of those things that's a problem and the other 2 are fine. You know, you're not talking to your family, but your friends are brilliant. You hate your job, but your marriage is fabulous. Vice versa. You can't find anyone to get married and settle down with, but your work, your career is brilliant. And whatever it is dominating your thoughts. It's the 9 of Swords, it's the girl sitting there with her head in her hands and lying up in bed, because she can't get any sleep, because she's got insomnia, because her brain's so active. Something's dominating your thoughts all the time, and it's derailing the other aspects of your life. It's knocking off kilter your emotional balance and your brain, your ability to think properly, logically, rationally. So you might find that you've been lashing out for unnecessary reasons. There's no reason to lose your temper or to get upset. If you're not somebody that loses your temper, you might just start crying over silly things, even if it's just in private. I mean, the king here is having a drink. It does make me feel that some of you are indulging in something that's unhealthy for you. So it could be drink, it could be food, because it's a consuming of it. It could be controlling your food, in controlling what you consume, not necessarily by eating lots of junk food, but by being really strict about what you eat. Sort of the opposite end. You know, if it's not so far as sort of a proper eating disorder, you're just really controlling your image, your body image even, and you can't see it because you can't see the rational brain. There's something that's taken over your life, and it's destabilizing the balance of it through your heart and your head, and you've just lost control of it. You've lost control of that. I do feel for some of you, you're so in this way of thinking that you don't see how negative it is, that you're so involved in doing a particular thing that you can't see that it's harming you, that you've lost control of it. I'm just thinking of people that suddenly don't realise that they have been so, like for instance, restrictive in their eating, that they didn't realise that they were eating such an unbalanced meal because they felt they were getting control over their life, but in fact they weren't. So you need to be careful. If that rings a bell, if that's sort of resonating in any way, you got to be careful. You just got to try and take a step back and see exactly what it is that's dominating, what takes up a lot of your time when it shouldn't. This could be a long-term thing or a temporary thing, but either way, you don't have control of this and it's causing unhappiness. So these 3 cards are what you need to gain control of in order to be happier. And we've got 7 of Vessels, mourning. 4 of Stones, protection. 6 of Vessels, reunion. Okay. So something's happened in the past, a decision made. Maybe you made it, maybe someone else made it for you. And basically, you haven't got over it, is what I would say. And you don't realise you haven't really gotten over it. You possibly think you have, but you're still reacting to whatever that end of a relationship, loss of a job, loss of an ambition. Basically, you've got something to mourn over, something to accept is over, grieve over it, heal from it, and find your other choices. It's the 7 of Cups, it's options, choices, but in this deck, it is mourning. It's mourning something. Something's gone, and you haven't accepted it. So for some of you, that it's a grief, and because that's not been allowed to happen, or you haven't completed that grieving process, you've lost control in some way of something in your mind. You need to take control of this protection. Some of you, I suspect, are overly protective, that you feel that you're this lovely little fawn and that you are in your shelter and you're going to stay there, thank you very much, everything's fine, but you don't realise that you've just completely bound yourself into like a room, a box, and that you're protected, but also you're alone. There's a sense here of not wanting to have feelings hurt, not wanting to be exposed to things to hurt, but you're consumed by a previous hurt and you've got to let go of it. I feel that some of you are just really overly protective of yourself. For some of you, you've done the opposite in that you're taking on unhealthy behaviours, and so what you need to do is be a bit more protective of yourself.
The difference is that, you know, I do feel that there's two camps here. One is really protective already, and you know it, that you're really sensible and you're quite restricted in certain things. You know, like if you had a bad breakup, you're not meeting anyone new. If you went for a promotion and didn't get it, you're just not bothering to go for promotion anymore. And then there's others of you where you're eating the wrong foods, you're not taking any exercise, you're drinking far too much, you're going out with people that perhaps you shouldn't be going out with, all that kind of stuff. So you know which camp you fall into, but there's just this sense here of protection. You need to take control of how much you're protecting yourself and how little you are. You need to find the balance between the two, where you don't take unnecessary risks that are not going to pay off, you know, calculated risks. But also you need to get out from the, you know, stay in the shelter overnight, but when the sun comes up, get out, stretch your legs, go out and see what the day has to hold. Then we have the Six of Vessels, which is reunion, and this is the reunion with the self. It's the Six of Cups. It's about like the past in a sense. So it's reconciling yourself with the past because of this Mourning card. It's about connecting with something. I think it's acceptance that something's happened, that there is a different path, or realigning with a previous path that you left behind in order to pursue a different future. There's something here that you need to reunite with in your life, with a part of yourself most likely, but it could be something to do with someone else. I won't exclude it, it's too generalised a reading. But there's something that you are rejecting, and that's why you don't have, in essence, the control over your life and a control, you know, a happiness in your life. You don't have control over this, two very important things. And if you want to control these and get control of your life so that you can be happy, or find happiness, or put yourself on the path to happiness, you have to do these things. Mourn over something, start to protect the most important things, and reunite in some way with an aspect of yourself that you've been rejecting. Those of you that chose option 1, that's your reading. It's quite a simple one, really. It looks complicated, but it's not. It's really simple. This is the important card here. There's a reunion that's needed. And I think it's a reunion with a part of yourself that you've lost contact with recently. So do that. I wish you all the best of luck for the future. Please take very good care of yourself. Thank you very much for listening to me. And if you have been a subscriber or are a subscriber and have been supporting my channel for the past year, happy anniversary. Thanks for all the support, and long may it continue. And I just wish you a fond farewell. Okay, those of you that chose option 2, this is your reading. What do you need to gain control over in your life in order to find happiness? So these 3 cards represent the things that you don't have control of, basically, and they're leading to the unhappiness, or at least the stagnation in your life. So we've got the 5 of Cups, 10 of Swords, the Fool. Okay, so I think this is more you just don't have control over this. Something's coming to an end. You can't control the grief over something ending. Something's finishing, and something else is, you know, there's a new beginning, and you're upset about it. So this feels very much something's happened or been happening for a while, and I think you're fully aware of that, and you're just not happy about it. It's just the end. I can't put it any simpler than that, and you're upset. 5 of Cups, grieving. Your mind is a maze over it, and yeah, basically you've got something new starting, which is usually positive, but the thing is, the Fool is only a good card to see when you've accepted that something else is finished. And if you're not accepting of that finishing, it's not good to see the Fool, because you're like, no, I don't want to go off somewhere where I don't know where I'm going, and I'm back at the beginning. I've invested everything in this, I've gone through all the swords, I don't want it to be over. You know, I don't want to be stuck back at the beginning to start all over again, get a new job, you know, start a new career, start a new relationship. No, I don't want that. So from your perspective, it's not good. And that's where the lack of, you feel out of control, I think, of something in your life. Whatever that is, a relationship, work, family, friends, and you're struggling with that. The bad news is that it's happening. And you can't stop it. And your unhappiness is from, I feel a sense of needing to control this rather than what these cards are. This is what you need to gain control over in order to be on the path to happiness, or, you know, find it. Absolutely. The more that you can try and control this, the more you're going to dig yourself into a pit, and the less happy you're going to be, because you can't control it. It's happening. It's done and dusted. It's over. You're just delaying the inevitable, and therefore causing the maximum amount of pain. It's like taking off a plaster slowly. Oh, it's agony. You're better off just ripping it off the plaster. Just, you know. Some of you are going to recognise that quite quickly. Others of you are really going to have to struggle and carry on with this process in your own time, which is fair enough. But what I've got here for you is the advice on what to take control of and sort of get to grips with in order to be happy. Exploitation. That's interesting. Clearance. A good card to see next to that. Page of Bows. Okay. A picture is beginning to form in my mind. I think I'm going to say there's a sense here of exploitation, and I feel that you're the ones that have been exploited because of the grief card. I don't feel that you'd feel gutted that you'd exploited someone else. Oh no, well, you could. I'd feel pretty upset if I turned out I'd exploited someone else and I didn't want, you know, that wasn't like my intention. You know, I'd been misled, and it turned out that some clothes I bought had been made in a sweatshop when I'd been sold them as handmade in the UK or something. Do you know what I mean? You can only take blame for the things that you've done and that you've done wrong. You can't take responsibility for something other people have done. If you've been misled in some way, shame on them. If you've been exploited, that you found out that this is all, you found out that in fact in some way that your resources have been drained, or that you have been, you know, investing in the wrong thing. This is about like the exploitation of the land, that the bees have gone, there's nothing to grow, and the people are left hungry because there's no plants. It's like a warning of the future of climate change takes hold. But I sense that this is more for you about the exploitation of you in your own life, of what are you exploiting in your life, what are you not nurturing, what are you not tending and taking care of? Because we've got the clearance card. So you need to clear out the things that are no good for you, that are either exploiting you, like, you know, sometimes we have friends that take advantage of our good nature and don't give anything back. Or that you might be in a workplace where you work really, really hard, fingers to the bone time, and you just get rubbish pay. You just don't get paid what you're worth. Or in a relationship where you're giving everything and they're not investing back. Maybe that's the thing, that you thought this relationship was going somewhere and it's not. It's not your fault if you've put the work in and not got anything back. So we've got clearance. You need to now clear out the things that you've outgrown, that no longer serve you, that are no longer good for your life or for the future, that are no longer conducive to happiness. So you've got to clear out the dead wood. Doesn't mean chuck everything away, it just means get rid of the things that don't help you anymore and be a bit more adventurous. The Stoat, Page of Bows, is about being a bit more adventurous, being a bit more risky, getting out there, getting out into the world and meeting new people. It's about you know, the Stoat's a quick, lively character that doesn't hold back. So in a sense, I'm wondering whether some of you have been a bit reticent and not come forward too much in some aspect. You've been a bit restricted. I mean, the answer to that then is be like the Stoat and be a bit freer and a bit more wild. See if you've been a bit restricted and restrained, especially if there's this sense of exploitation. I get the sense here that some of you might feel that you've been taken advantage of in some way. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but you know, you definitely in this reading have to get rid of the dead wood, you know, and be a bit, and you know, being adventurous. It's open to change. Once you've cleared out all this stuff, you need to make space for new things to come into your life. So it's like if you sort of slowly, or just think, I'm not having anything to do with a particular friend, you could do with meeting new people to replace those friends. You know, if you decide that a job's no good for you anymore, you need to start looking for a new job. But you know, it's also about, there's always a warning here about not being too trusting or too gullible. So whatever mistakes have led to this position, don't make the same mistakes. Don't be too trusting, and don't you know, end up running across the tree and off it and down into the water if you can't swim. Do you know what I mean? You still got to be somewhat sensible. But you got to be a bit more adventurous. I feel that there's been a bit of a restriction here. I think something's happened that you didn't want to happen, and you've got to accept it. I do absolutely believe that, but you have more control than you think, and I'm just intrigued by the exploitation. Whether you've been exploited or been doing the exploiting. Either way, time to clear out. So that's your reading, those of you that chose option 2. For all of you that are my current subscribers and sort of been with me for the past year, thank you again so much for supporting the channel and supporting me. I can't believe it's been a year. But thank you, and I wish you all the best of luck for the future with this. Please take very good care of yourself. I feel that you're in a sensitive, precarious state, so turn to those that you know, love and trust, and let them help you. Thank you very much for listening to me, and goodbye. Okay, those of you that chose option 3, this is your reading. What do you need to take control of in your life in order to be happy? Well, these 3 cards represent what you don't really have control over. That these are things that you are sort of leading to your unhappiness or contributing to, and you just perhaps aren't aware of it, but definitely aren't in control. So we've got Page of Cups, Page of Wands, and the Empress. Okay, so this speaks to me that there's something that you're sort of in love with it. You're enamored of it. You're passionate about it. You want to get out there and spread the message and have the adventure. You want to give birth to it, to have this creation, I sense it's a creativity to be born, and you can't. You want something to be delivered, but you haven't got control over that. So you want, whatever it is, you want it to be in existence. The Empress creates, she gives birth, she nurtures and delivers and allows things to flower, mature and be abundant. I always say, you give her a seed, she will make the wheat grow, you know, she will tend it, she will be the gardener, she's just the Mother Earth, you know. So there's something that you want to give birth to, and it could be an idea, it could be a creative project, a novel, painting, music. And I feel that there's very much you want it to exist. I feel that this is something that this is new to you, or you're just a beginner at it, or you're relatively a beginner, because these are both pages, but you're passionate about it. You're in the early stages of it, and you just can't exist. It's just not happening for whatever reason. It's just not happening, and you don't have any control over it, and this is making you unhappy. Because you either want to start writing that novel, start painting that beautiful piece of artwork, or singing that song, whatever. If it's nothing creative, even though I'm really deeply getting the vibes of creativity, it's going to be something like in your life more broadly that you want to come into creation, like a job opportunity, a career, a relationship, a connection, friendship, whatever. You want it, you really, really want it, and it's just not happening, and you can't make it come into life. You can't get this Empress moment. And that's the source of it. This is the source of the problem. You're really, really into it. You're really into it. So these 3 cards represent what you need to get control of. So you can't control this, but these things you can do something about it in order to get this happiness. And for, I think, possibly this project. I'm feeling it's a project. Anyway, balance. Moon on the water. 10 of Stones home. Okay then, that wasn't what I was thinking. This is teaching me. Don't try and anticipate what the message is. Just read the cards. You absolutely, I mean, basically you've effectively got 2 cards that's sort of saying the same thing. You've got to balance something out in your life. These are 2 different aspects of yourself. So what, there's this thing that you want to be in existence. I would say that maybe it's not in existence because you're not balancing out 2 desires within you. I feel that these are 2 desires. I was intrigued by the fact that it's the Page of Cups and the Page of Wands. The Page of Cups is about that romantic love, that, oh, I've bought you flowers. The Page of Wands is about, I'm on fire, or the sexual desire, which are not incompatible. They're very well compatible, but they just have 2 different vibes to them. You need to balance those out. So if this is a person like that you are into, and you can't manifest the Empress, or can't conjure up the relationship, it's because you've got to balance out these 2 energies, so that there's obviously a sexual desire, but there's also a soft romantic one, maybe because of the person you're trying to lure in. I don't know. If it's a case of it is a project, you're not balancing out properly the love you feel for it and the passionate drive to make it happen. So it's not happening because you're too enamored of looking up and daydreaming and feeling the love for it, and you're not getting the swing moving and getting the passion moving and getting the journey moving to make it a reality. You sort of need that flame underneath you to get you moving. And once you balance those 2, I think it's balance these 2 out, you're going to be in more control. The Moon on the Water is interesting because it's really talking about accepting the desire that you have, which I think is linked to the Empress, because it's a card about fertility. It's, this is an egg. It's about accepting you have the desire to create, like that you have sexual desire, for instance. Or that you have the desire to create your project, or to create your dream, to make your dream come true, to bring this thing into existence. It's like once you accept that you have a desire for something or someone or whatever it is, once you have that, you can then start to get control. So there's a sense here, because of this card, there's a sense of denial of something, denial of a desire, of a want, of a need. It doesn't have to be a strong, powerful one. It doesn't have to be an overwhelming love for someone else. It could just be that you've always wanted to learn to swim, learn to drive. You've always wanted to do something in particular, in a mild way. Some of you it's more impassioned, like I have never followed my dream. But you've got to accept that you want it. So there's something that you want, And I'm sensing now, possibly quite badly, that you aren't admitting that you want, and you've got to balance that out between what you've got, what you want, what you can have. And when you accept that, you've got a grounding to create a plan of what to do for the future. Because you've got to get control over your home for some reason. Now, yeah, it's about, you know, where you live, but home is more than the roof over your head. Home is your friends, your family, the people, your support network, the people you spend your time with. Because there's nothing worse than, say, for instance, being in a job that you love, but you hate the people you work with. You know, you can't get on with anyone, you know, you're miserable, because you're not friends with any of them, you don't have any similar interests, or your personalities clash. You know, you can literally love your job and hate your workplace. And it makes you unhappy, because being around people that you don't like is draining. And it's the same as if you live somewhere in a place that isn't representative of you, for instance, or you can't, there isn't anywhere for you to go and meet people with similar interests, you know, or there's a lack of opportunities, or just quite simply maybe some of you have moved away from your tribe, away from your home, from your family, and that you've gone off at a distance from them. You need to get control of that, because either there is no choice that you've built your life elsewhere in a new land, or that you want to do that, and you've got to evaluate that you want to. I feel this is either you want to move home or you want to move away from home. And maybe that's the frustration, is that you feel you can't do that. And you need to either accept that that's your desire, that you actually have a desire to have your own place, go off and follow your dreams, or that you have a desire to go back to perhaps where you were born, or where the people that feel like family are, and you feel that you can't do that. I just feel there's a conflict between what you want and what you feel you can have. And the answer is, in order to gain control and get your own happiness, is to accept what you want and then decide what to do. I'm not saying whether you should follow and get what you want, but I think the problem for you is that you are not accepting of it and not balancing that out. And when you do, things are going to be a lot clearer, and you'll be able to see a path forward to happiness. Whether that's going home, staying away from home, staying where you are, moving, whatever, it doesn't matter. That's up to you. That's your decision. But there's something important, you know, this is an important reading. You've got 3 major arcanas, which, you know, just in a 6-card reading is important. But yeah, there's definite here that there's a desire within you to do something that you're denying, and you're not going to be able to have control over your life or to see things clearly until you do. So I would urge you to begin work on that, to begin analysing what's going on in your life and what you want from it. And for some reason it's to do with home, and I say it's more, you know, it's not necessarily entirely about literally where you live, but it's who your family, your family, your extended family, the people you share your deepest links with, the intimate links of life. And you need to, in a sense, get control over that, to get control over where your home is, inside and outside. So yeah, that's your reading. Those of you, you know, my subscribers and the people that have been following me for the past year for my, you know, anniversary, thank you very much for listening to this video as well, and for supporting me and staying with me. I hope you carry on. Otherwise, I wish you all the best of luck with this. Please take very good care of yourself. Yeah, I just wish you all the best of luck for the future, and goodbye.